C1music.fm. Real talk. I'm with the fellas today. What's going on, fellas?
Good,
Good,
good.
I'm good, I'm good.
Good, good,
Can't
good.
complain.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Yo, it's good to be on with y'all today, man. I have a opening question before I get into my topic today. Um, I'm gonna ask this question. I want you both to respond to it. All right. Hopefully, Joe I should jump in this call. But yeah, I got a question. I want to see how y'all respond to it. So online, there's a conversational piece where and so I'm just gonna hypothetically put it into uh, a scenario. So fellas, let's say you go out with a girl on a date. Okay, I don't know how much the typical date costs in your countries, but let's just say for argument's sake here, let's say you spend $100 US dollars. I don't know what the equivalent of that is, but let's say you take her out for a nice restaurant. Yeah, go out to eat first date, and this is the first you just now meeting her for the first time. First date, spend about $100. Second date, yeah, go out again. You spend another $100. All right. So now you $200 in. I go on a third date, but on this third date, she offers to pay. And let's say the bill is only $50, right? $50 payment. After the third date, you come to the conclusion when you get home and you think about it, I'm not interested in this girl anymore. So you call her, you tell her, listen, you're a great girl, everything's love. It's not for us. It's not meant for me. No hard feelings. I wish you the best. You know what I mean? We could still be friends or whatever the case may be. And you be a nice guy and let her off maybe easily, however you wanna call it. She responds back to you by saying, okay, thank you for letting me know. And then she sends you a copy of the receipt and says that she wants you to send her half of the bill that she took paid last for the time y'all went out, which is $50. She wants you to pay your half of that bill. Eddie, I want you to go first. What would be your response?
First of all, why is she, why should I pay her back? It was a date, we both enjoyed the date. And at that time, we believed or thought that things will be, things will grow into something, more serious maybe. But I personally, I wouldn't refund her or something. I wouldn't do that. And the most I'll do is try and be very polite, as I tell her I will not be refunding the money.
So when you receive the text message with the copy of the receipt or the here we'll say the Cash App uh request or the PayPal request for you to pay your half, what would your response be to her though? I know you say you won't want it, you're not gonna do it, but what will be your response? You get the PayPal request for $25
I'll
change.
be like, what? Why are you making me pay you back? We both had the meal.
Or she's saying that you ended the relationship. So I mean it's over. Since she paid for it, she wants you to she wants you pay for it.
I'll be like, so are you charging me for breaking up with you? Why now? You know,
That would be your response?
yes, yes.
Okay. What about you, Fritz?
Well, is the question, would I refund or would I pay my half?
Well, what would be your response to it first?
Oh,
In your response, you could say if you would pay your half or not. But what would be your response?
well, I think it's gonna take me a bit of investigation. Like, ask why would she want me to like pay the other half. It's because the reason is because if she really needs it, or like she's short, or she has an emergency or something like that, I'm gonna understand. But if she's asking it just for the sake of, she, because the relationship was ended and she wanted to like refund or reimburse the half of the bill that we paid for the date, I think uh that's I'm not willing. I'm not gonna be willing to do that, I think.
All right,
And again, technically, she's the one that owes me $25, right? Because if I paid 100 and she paid 50,
pay 100 twice, bro.
exactly. That is, see, she owes me. If you're gonna charge each other for for the time and for the date, then she want to pay me.
And that would have been my response. That would have been my response. And I want to know if I'm being petty because I'm like, bro, you only spent $50. I spent 200. You know what I'm saying? I spent 200 on this. Am I being petty? Bob, if she send me the receipt, I'm gonna send her the receipt for my joint. I spent 200.
Aaron, you're being logical. I think it's gonna hurt her.
Like I wouldn't even respond to the request. I probably would send her a picture of my two receipts and just call it a day, and then let her take that for what it's worth. But am I being petty? Is that being petty?
No, I don't.
Eddie, you saying you would do the same thing, Eddie?
Yes, actually, and I'll really struggle to be polite in this case. I will struggle to be polite, but definitely I will. I will pay back. But I'm curious to know, Fritz, when you say you'll investigate, so you're saying when she sends you the message and the receipt, what will be your first response to that message? Let's say it's a text or email or whatever. What will be?
Why? Yeah, I'll ask her why, because it for me it's not, at least in my culture, it's not common for any like side, like whether you're a male or a female, to like ask your date for a reimbursement of whatever you paid after like a date, or when something is over. So for me, if she really, for example, needs it, or there's an emergency, like she texted like, can you at least send me a half because my mother is in hospital or something like that, the lines of empathy and all that. Maybe
Let me ask this question for you though, Fritz. Hold on real quick. I wanna piggyback off of Eddie's question.
sure.
If your mother was in the hospital
Would I ask for a no.
and you spent $200, is she gonna volunteer?
No.
Is she gonna voluntarily give you? I mean, because are you asking that question base and do some investigation? Oh, your mom was in the hospital and da 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 da, or whatever the case may be. Like you volunteered to pay the $50. Like at that particular point in time, that's not. I don't care about what your issue.
Yeah, that's the side that we are coming from as men, I think, that we are willing to spend $200 with no strings attached. We can let go of the $200 for you know we can, if we decide to, for the after the third day, we can decide if we're gonna continue or not, and not think about the $200, right?
Right. Because
So
second, if it was the other way around and you spent the $200, then she spent the $50, then she messaged you and say, "Hey, I don't think this relationship is gonna go anywhere."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Are you gonna respond and say, "All right, well here's my receipts. You owe me 100."
No, I probably wouldn't do that. I wouldn't show the receipt.
Right. So I'm saying the audacity, in my opinion, for you to have the audacity to even respond to me by saying you you sending me a request to be reimbursed is bananas.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is this actually happens. This actually happens.
Mhm.
So this leads me to my next question. Should chivalry be expected for women who want equality? Should chivalry be expected for women who want to be equals?
Should chivalry be expected from women?
Who want to be equal to you?
Equal meaning like
All right. Equal meaning that they want to make the same amount of money as you. They want to compete with you on a whole bunch of different things. They want to be equal.
I see.
They don't want to. They want to be equal.
All right.
So if they want to be equal, should chivalry be expected for women who want equality? Eddie says no. Fritz, what do you say?
She wants to be.
Before I ask you why, Eddie, should chivalry be expected for women who want equality?
If she wants to be equal, if she wants to be equal, then go.
I'll give you for instance, Fritz. Here, let me give you for instance.
Okay.
Let's say you and a young lady work at the same job. You or her take the same train. Y'all ride the train every morning, and you're going. And she wants to compete with you. She says, "Yo," she even tells you, "You're not better than me. I'm better than you, or we equal
Mm-hmm.
at our job performance and at everything that you can do. I can do better." Right? That's her mentality towards you, Fritz. The one day y'all ride home on the train, right? You get on the train or the bus, whatever it is, transportation, and all the seats are taken. There's only one seat left. You get to that seat first. And then she walks on the bus or the train with you.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Should you
Okay.
give your seat up for her?
She wants to be equal. Hmm.
Should you give your seat up for her?
No.
Should you be a gentleman? Eddie said, nope. Hold on, Fritz. Hold on, Eddie. Fritz, talk to me, man. Should chivalry be expected for women who want equality?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a man, you got to fight for everything. Fritz, you taking a long time to answer this. Why? Is it because Will is there?
No, not really, not really. Because my mind is telling me that they shouldn't be required to
What shouldn't be required? When you say it shouldn't be required, what shouldn't be required?
or like expected from them because I'm just thinking that it is indeed innate or it's hardwired for us to be chivalrous and for them to be, protected and all that. It's just that it's the woke mentality that makes them, I want to be equal and all that. So I'm gonna say no for now. I'm gonna say no for now. Let's continue. So let's explore this area.
All right, so you saying
I'm gonna
so
say no for now.
you're gonna say, hold on, let me understand. You saying no that they should not be so would you give up your seat for her? Would you stand up and let her sit down instead?
Most probably, yeah.
Regardless that she wants to be your equal.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I got one person on one side, I got another on the other. All right, Eddie, talk to me. Why are you not why did you come to this conclusion?
I'm sure by now you all know I have a very huge problem with this equality thing. Fritz has mentioned, wokeness and everything. See, we cannot be equals. I believe that wholly. We cannot be equals. We are equal. We are human beings, yes. Right, you're right, yes. Good. But we will never be equal. We cannot be equal. We then if you're equal, then why am I giving you my seat? Why am I doing that? Why should I give you my seat if you're equals? Right? If it was a guy who's my age, I wouldn't give him my seat. Right? Why am I not giving this guy my seat? Because we are more or less equal. We are both men. But if you're a lady and you wanna be equal, that now I put that lady thing aside first, right? And I'll treat you as my equal. You're my equal. You can stand as well as I can.
Oh man, hold on. So
I
hold on, Eddie.
I'm sorry. This equality thing is I can whine about it like for a whole hour. And unfortunately, and I emphasize this, unfortunately, we here in Africa now we are being westernized. We are being lied to. To be yeah, to become woke. I
You've been woken up. You've been woken up.
totally disagree with all that. Being woke. There are some things I look at ladies and I'm like, if you want equal rights, fine then. You'll get your equal rights, but don't expect me then to be the provider. Why am I providing for you if you're equal then? If you're equal, go hustle also. So for me, equality is
Hold on. Eddie, first and foremost, I 100% agree with your logic in regards to um this whole woke thing. I hate it as well. All right, it this feminist the world would be a better place if men wasn't in it. Like the retarded.
Would you rather be with a bear or a man in an island? They chose a bear.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, go on.
Like the retardedness in the logic of the conclusion that they come to. But I want to come back to Fritz real quick, and I'm gonna give Fritz an opportunity to explain because maybe Fritz is saying he would do the Christian thing, and I don't know. Like I don't know what it is. Hold on, Eddie. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Eddie. I just Fritz said that he still would give up his seat. I want to know why. What made you come to this conclusion, man? Because as of right now, I think I stand with Eddie. So sell me on it, Fritz.
I do agree with Eddie when it comes to equality. We are equal in value, but we bring different things on the table. We are not equal with our contributions. We are not equal with strength and emotionally capabilities and all that. But this is just me personally. Whenever I ride the bus, for example, or a train, and it's already full, and a lot of people are already standing and all that, and I'm seating, right? So regardless of who it is, as long as it's either an elderly or a woman, I'm looking to give up my seat, even if no one is asking, right? So that's just me. Now, if someone would go, I'm gonna use the same example that Aaron used, where a woman is riding a bus with me or a train with me, and then she said those things to me that I'm better than you, everything. And then if the situation permits that there's really no seats available, and I'm seated and she's not, I think I would still offer my seat. That's what I'm thinking.
I got you. I just want to know why. I want to hear the why part. Why would you still offer your seat? What is your logic behind making that decision?
Because it doesn't change her inherent value as a woman, even if she thinks that she's equal with me, but she's really not. So you know
But
that's
why not be the
I'm
one to
coming
teach
from.
you that lesson?
thank you.
Sorry.
So why not be the one to teach her that lesson? Sometimes people got to listen. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way.
Right, right, but it's still a plus point for me, not for her. Let the other man teach him.
I know I understand what you're saying, but like I
Yeah.
sometimes if you have a kid, let's say you had a child and your child is acting up,
Mhm.
right? And you sat down, you done did all the talking that you can do. At some point in time, you might have to make the decision and sometimes let your kid just fail so that they can realize, like,
Absolutely.
you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that, but
Right. Right.
I mean, but they're not getting it. So sometimes when they're just not getting it, you just gotta let them see for themselves. You know what I mean? As much as your heart may. So if a woman wants to be equal, she's not getting it. You're not getting it. So
Yeah, I can do that in other things. For example, she can think that I can lift this or I can do this. Like when it comes to strength wise, let her do it, and then if she failed, then she'll realize.
But let her do it, and she fails. To me, it's the same. It's the same.
You should be consistent.
It's the same as her standing up on a bus. To me, man. If you got to lift something and she got to lift something, you let her lift it and find out that she's going to fail on lifting it. To me, it's the same as letting her fail by standing on a bus.
Not in my presence though. Like she wants to be equal, and then by herself she wants to lift something, or right. Those things are inevitable maybe
All
in
right,
life.
so let me mesh both of y'all arguments together for me personally, because on the one hand, I'm far left with Eddie. Like, nah, I can't. I'm not doing that. And like, I, I,
Understandable.
I get that. I get that. I understand. On the flip side of it, to me, it's like I guess maybe I was raised you know what I mean? It's like I it's just I feel like that's just the right thing to do to give up your seat. So for me, now I think my measurement case would be the person's attitude. Cause I may let that person, I may see the seat, sit down on it, and see how they respond for me not getting up. And if they're humble, you know what, man, you can have a seat. You know what I mean? But if they got an attitude like like I'm supposed to get up for them,
If this woman a see. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm supposed to get up for you, then I'm gonna look at you. And I'm gonna actually not look at you. I'm gonna ignore you like I don't see you there because it's like
That's entitlement. That's pure entitlement.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so for me, I kind of think that you know what I'm saying I'm a big person that has to that argues about a person's attitude. You know what I mean? Attitude is a big thing. If they feel like they're entitled to me getting up, you can't be entitled if you want equality. Equality and entitlement doesn't mean the same thing. Let me read this. It says the relationship between chivalry and gender equality is a complex and often subject to personal beliefs and cultural norms. Chivalry traditionally is understood as a code of conduct that includes behaviors like showing courtesy, generosity, and respect towards women. In a modern context, chivalry often manifests in actions such as holding doors, paying for meals, and offering protection. All right. Some argue that chivalry is simply a form of politeness. Holding a door opening, holding a door open or paying for a meal can be seen as acts of kindness rather than an expression of equality. Uh, when chivalry is practiced voluntarily and reciprocally, it can enhance social interaction without undermining equality. Both men and women can engage in chivalrous acts towards each other. However, here's my next question. What are chivalrous acts that women can do? And how often do men actually experience these acts from women? If chivalry is something that a man and woman can do, when do women do chivalrous things for men?
Are we?
How we how and y'all can answer this personally. Y'all can answer this personally and whatever other outlook you want to look at it. I don't want to say professionally, but whatever. When does how often do women do chivalry things? And is it expected for women to be chivalrous just as men are? Who want to tackle this one first?
To be honest, to be honest, I'm thinking. I'm thinking about a public setting, right? Because
Uh-huh.
we encounter people and interact with people in public, like for example what you've mentioned, like opening doors, waiting in line, or letting someone pass through and all that. I'm thinking, from my personal experience, I have not experienced any chivalrous deed that a woman did to me. Like, no woman has ever said to me like, you can go on it, you can go first, for example, or you can take my seat, or hold the door for me, or as a female security guard maybe, but that's her job. But you know, yeah, I'm thinking about it in general public, like interaction with public. I have not, as far as I remember.
So chivalry is only one way. It doesn't go both ways. Because a woman can sit down on a bus and then see another woman who may be elderly or whatever the case may be and get up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah,
When would a woman be like? How often are women? What acts can women actually do to be chivalry to a man that is of that is capable?
yeah.
Eddie, talk to me, Eddie, because you look like you in deep thought.
You know, look at it. Definition, right? Just by definition already, men are already disadvantaged, right? We should be doing, already we're disadvantaged, and answer to how they can reciprocate that. But again, for me, I men we are disadvantaged for saying this, but we are disadvantaged. The society tends to focus more on women, forgetting men. Like, just look at that definition of chivalry. Is it, you know,
There's a benefactor and a beneficiary.
the man, they also, we also, in my culture, again, in my culture here, and again, unfortunately, disappointingly, we most people, call on wild, and I'm totally against that because as Fritz mentioned this walk thing, and I'm like, you know, now let me be honest. There is no Kenyan, I dare say African, that appreciates flowers. That is a lie. That is a lie. That I'll buy you a rose and it makes you feel. That is a lie. That is, we're just trying to copy. I was someone to be, and no bed had a flower, right? So we are forcing things on ourselves, and trying to look, and that is not us. So for me, like, I don't open doors. No, I don't do that. I'm 37 years old, so I am
Hold on, say that
right.
again. You don't open doors for
I
ladies?
do not do that. I will say it. I don't do that. Trust me. She knows I laugh with all my heart. I do not do that. That is not
But you'll die for them.
our culture. That is a lie. We're trying to. It's what we see in the movies. We're trying. I you know put, put Ed is put here and the Western is put here. Trust me, I love my woman more than you know someone from the West would. But I do not open for the door. I don't do that.
Hold on, Eddie, Eddie, hold on.
Like, my parents will not call each other, honey, baby. No, no, no.
You wouldn't open up the door for your mom?
My mom, yes. My mom, I would. I would. Why? Because she's my mom. She is, and that is because
So you would open up the door for a lady.
when I say late, I will open.
But you just said you would do it for your mom.
Yes, for my mom, yes. Why? Because she's my mom and she's older. There's that respect thing by virtue of being old only. But I wouldn't open a door for a lady that is my age. Why? Unless the door is so heavy she can't.
All right, so hold on. Let's let's dumb this down a little bit. All right. We all would agree that as a man, we should show chivalry to the elderly, um, to somebody who has a who is disabled, a disability, um, and in some cases to even like to little kids or something of that sort. Right? We all can agree to that. All right. So when you make the statement, Eddie, that you don't show chivalry, let's put this in context of dating now. Let's say dating. All right, let's put this in the context of dating. Can we do that first? Can we do that? Let's put it in the context of dating. All right. Hold on now. So if you're dating a young lady and you and her are both walking towards the door, are you not going to open up the door for the lady you turn on a date that you're dating?
Again, I will open that door just because that is not me. That is not the true me. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And not me as Eddie only. No, 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 no. Trust me, any African man, Kenyan man, African man, will not open that door. The only reason I'll open that door is because I'm trying to seem westernized, or because this lady is westernized and I'm trying to impress her, but deep down, why the door is not that heavy. You can open that door for yourself. That is just that is how we are. We don't baby our ladies that much.
I see.
Now, I get it
I get it.
to a certain degree. I get it.
Yeah, I think you have a different gesture when it comes to chivalry. Not the usual like holding the door or something like that. I think you do have a different gesture.
So then, what is the gesture for chivalry that it is in your country, in your culture? What is because
Yeah, what do you consider it as chivalrous?
In our culture.
in your culture, some of the women do a lot more. I some of the women do a lot more individual. I'll also say though that I think some of the women are a little bit. Some of them are a little bit more traditional and modern.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't know if I agree with. To me, if a woman is more traditional, I would be more willing to be more chivalrous to her.
How it should be. That is how it should be.
So, with that being said, then what is chivalry in your culture?
Culture. Let me give you an example. Like, see, like providing for my woman. That in itself, for me is that is more than enough. Not the only thing to do, but that is more than enough. But don't ask me to open her door. No. To pull her seat to no, 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 no. I will protect her. I will care for her. But caring for her does not mean babying her around. No.
Hmm.
And I would consider myself westernized. So going by compared to other how the culture should be here. And again, unfortunately, we try to copy so much that we are losing focus, quote unquote. Yeah.
All right, so now I want to go back to my original question. Fritz, you want to add anything to that though?
No, no, no. Okay, let's.
All right, so I want to go back to my original question though. My original question was, what are chivalrous acts that women do? A, and how often do men actually experience these acts from women? So, Fritz, you answered that you never experienced any chivalrous acts.
Yes, as far as my experience is concerned, I do see them doing it to others.
All right, so now I want to put this in. I want to put in a context to a relationship. So, you in a relationship, does Wella show at any point in time any chivalrous acts towards you? And and if so, what would you define as a chivalrous act that Willa can do towards you?
Um, one thing is the like sharing with the expenses whenever we're going out. She volunteers to, like, for example, if I pay for dinner, she's gonna be paying for something else later on, something like that. And here's, if I may add, Aaron, the because by definition, chivalry is like what I said. There's a benefactor and beneficiary, right? Like us men would be the benefactor, and the beneficiary would be the women, right?
Hmm.
That chivalry, I believe, is indeed a man trait, or like it's exclusively for for men. So the counterpart, I think, from of that for women is the respect, or I think the acknowledgement of of the act, like the appreciation of it, and the care that they do after, like for example, whatever they do as a woman. So the counterpart of being chivalrous to for me to Ella is her caring and respect for me after doing such things. So
So, because that sounds like the same thing that I was saying with the person's attitude.
right,
Like, if they don't have the right attitude, then that's where the issue
right,
lies. So, if the person is appreciative and they care that you did these little small gestures for them,
right.
that's all you saying. That's all I really need. I don't really need nothing else. I just need the respect. Yeah.
Yeah, but because I think I think that's the only thing that we need, right? It's okay for us to just be respected and acknowledge of the things that we've done, and we don't really need to be celebrated or whatever. We just want to be respected and acknowledged.
Eddie, you agree with that, Eddie?
Yes, yes, I do. Maybe I'll just add that all I expect from her is just be a woman. Be a woman in this relationship. Just take care of the home. Yeah, as in just be a woman, and that is enough for me.
Okay. So I want to go back to is chivalry equality. So let's say this. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and a woman said that she expects her husband or her guy she's dating to pay the bills, to um, provide, to do all these things. And if her man said, "Yo, I came home from work. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Go make me a sandwich," she said she'll have an issue with that. Why can't he get up and make his own self a sandwich? Like, if you're hungry, make yourself a sandwich. To me, the way you can respond in chivalry is if I'm hungry and I want a sandwich to be made, get up and make me a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? But if you're saying, yo, you hungry, get up and make a sandwich, like
Thank you. Yes.
equality goes back to the well then you pay some of the bills. You know what I mean? You work hard like I'm working hard.
Right.
And then when I get home and I need to eat a sandwich, I'll eat a sandwich. And you can eat a sandwich when you get home by you providing them the food that there for you to create the sandwich and make the sandwich and eat the sandwich and do that.
Absolutely.
Like like one of the things I remember when I got married, and you know what I'm saying, when you get married, it's an adjustment. And I tell my wife, I think one of the things that people do, some people they live together before they get married, right? And I think that's somewhat of a problem, right? The reason why I say that is because I told my wife when we got married, like let's get and my wife likes to be the person that's doing stuff around the house and everything. And I'm very appreciative. We're both appreciative of each other. But I always tell my wife, yo, listen, if you don't want to get up and cook, right? If I gotta complain about you cooking or something, I lived by myself before. If I need to go home and make a sandwich or get if I need to go get me something to eat, I don't have an issue getting something to eat. Like if my wife come home and say, "Oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like eating." Da da da. Like you a grown man, you can get up and make. You absolutely right. So When I get in the car and go buy me something to eat, and I come home and I ate for myself, and I did not offer to get you anything, you're a grown woman. You can get in the car and go buy yourself something to eat. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I like to have that. I want you to have that same energy when I come home and I'm like, yo, can you, what's for dinner? I don't feel like eating dinner. Oh, word? Okay. And then I go and I leave. Where you going? Give me something to eat. Where you going? I might want something too. I'm not getting you nothing. You get yourself something to eat because you didn't want to cook or you didn't want to provide. You know what I mean? Um, I think that's equal opportunity at that point. You know what I mean? So I do think chivalry for women can be reciprocating. I think everything that Fritz said as far as respect, caring, and loving. Respect to me also is the action thing too. So if I come home from a hard day at work and like Eddie in the other podcast, I remember in the other podcast the girls was yelling at you because you said all the things that the lady want to do for her man when she comes home, when he gets off work, to the point where she don't want him to go back to work the next day and all that. For me, for a woman, those are chivalry acts that they can do. And I don't know if we want to. I don't know if the. I don't know if chivalry is the proper name for that because obviously we say acts of kindness, politeness, and things of that nature. Um, but for a woman to be appreciative of her man, in my personal opinion, those are some chivalry things that woman can do that allow a man to want to do more for her. I think the more she shows respect and appreciation for doing things, the more you will want to provide for her and support her in all the things that she's doing. Am I right? Wrong? I mean, y'all tell me,
Right.
Eddie. Would you look at that and say, all right, even though, because you got a lot of pushback when you made that statement.
Totally. Yeah, and you mentioned something.
And why do you think that's the case? Or do you think that's? Let me. So, and I'm asking you this, Fritz, too. Do you think that is the case because these women were westernized? Would it have been if we had a panel of fully Filipinos? Would they have responded the same way? Or if we would have had a panel full of women from Kenya, would they have responded the same way?
They should respond that way.
If Filipinos,
Sorry, I'm saying that is they should respond that way. But unfortunately,
Oh, say that again, Eddie.
see again, society is we emulate a lot from the West, right? And it's something you mentioned, Aaron, when we are starting. Competition. Nowadays, when you get into a relationship, there's competition in it. Like unfortunately, men too. Men now have started competing. They are ladies, and it's not supposed to, right? Relationship. You know, I will respect me. I mean, the basics of a relationship. But when we start the equality, this equality thing has malice. It is not genuine. A lot of malice actually. This equality thing. What do you mean equality? We cannot be equal in a relationship. Then who is the head? Who tells who? Who? I mean, yeah. So I have a problem with equality. Honestly, I will not. I will not. I will not. I will not lie. I have a problem. A big problem with equality. This equality thing.
who has the final say?
Okay, I mean I agree with you, Eddie. You not far off, man. I agree with you. All right, Fritz. So what's your response though? So on this particular thing, especially what Eddie said? What is your response?
Yeah, but to be safe, I think uh women here would. I'm not gonna say a percentage, but what I'm gonna say is this: more and more women would react the same thing, the way that they reacted when it comes to being just a woman who respects and all that. thing because more and more um, women are being empowered, quote unquote, that they can have this career in their lifetime and achieve all these things that the man can achieve, and be at the top, and pursue all these things. And being in a family and being a submissive wife is not even in the picture, right? So more and more um, women, I think, like what Eddie is saying, um, there is a huge wave of influence that are influencing our youth today to focus on those things and not just for example, just doing a household chore, right? Basic sweeping, basic, washing the dishes, what those things. I don't know about you guys. During our during my time, I can't complain if I'm commanded to do those things, right? If you, especially if I have a sister that she needs to be equipped with those things, right? She needs to know how to do those things, right?
Yeah.
If you ask, or if you command a child or a young kid or teen to do those things, they're gonna complain, and they will have all this entitlement, and even some says being abused and all that. Like, it's just soft. It's just soft. That's why they want all these things, but they offer nothing.
Mhm.
How did it get to this? Because I don't know if some people can blame the West. To be honest with you, in the West, it's not even the same either, though. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say the West, I don't know if they mean America or if they mean
Because the media is dominated by the influence of the West.
yeah, I got you. But I'm saying I don't know if when they say the West, because even in the quote unquote West, it's different from Europe. How things are in Europe versus how things are in America is totally different as well. You know what I mean? And and normally when people say the West, they're saying Europe or America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? They're not saying South America or any of the, you know what I mean? They specifically speaking of
US and Europe. Yeah.
US and Europe and possibly Australia. You know what I mean? To a certain degree. Because I would say culturally we're probably just as much as the same in those countries. So
Would I be wrong then if I said, let me not say the West then, let me say the devil. The devil wants to fight the family unit, and unfortunately, you know the easiest way, the quickest way is using the media. And who has the best media? A lot of what we consume is from the West, right? So maybe the devil, through the West, is influencing the entire world, right? Because I don't believe the people in the West are innately bad. No, maybe that is where the devil decided to, let me start from here, because
No, it's the devil first. It's the devil first
that's funny.
that goes through the feminist.
What is the if y'all would say the West? Obviously, you say the West. What is the East? So
I, the East, Asia, China, Asia,
Asia, yeah. Asia.
and they're not.
Asia, India.
how are they uniquely different than the West?
They are slightly, not even slightly. They are still on the woke thing. Let's say the East. I don't want to go into the woke thing because it's something I'm very passionate about. But the East are not that woke. And when I say woke, how do I put this without going into details? You know what, Aaron? I cannot wake up in the morning and say, I want you to. I'm a tree. No, I am a tree. I identify as a tree. Call me a tree. Is that being woke really? To me, that is
The earth is flat.
Well, listen. The reason in the East, I would say they don't have some of the freedoms that the in the West that you have. Like, for instance, I'm not trying to pick on China or anything like that, but like I know China controls how many kids you can have in your family and different things. There's you don't have a lot of freedom. It's more controlled environment. Is that better?
If you ask me, freedom is a very dangerous thing to give a human being, right? Free will, and that is where we start being naughty. With freedom comes, start trying things. Now, control is always good, but now, unfortunately, you know, a human being given control will want to use it, in a not so good way. But I'd prefer control than freedom. And when I say freedom, I mean too much freedom. Like in your country, maybe I don't want to go into details, but I've already mentioned,
What is too much control then? Because I prefer freedom over control. Now, to me, freedom also comes with responsibility. A lot of people are not responsible, you know what I mean, for the freedom. But I prefer freedom. I prefer the control will be you don't ha you can't be a
For the
Christian.
freedom. Yeah.
You can only be, let's say, a Muslim. That's control. You don't have the right to choose to, you know what I mean? I prefer the choice.
okay,
Now, you have to be responsible with your choices, and I don't think people are this younger generation are responsible. They want everything just to be given to them and not have to work for it.
freedom.
Freedom comes at a cost, though. People just don't understand the cost. The cost, listen, the cost of freedom is going to affect them in their older years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. And it has consequences.
Hmm. But I still would prefer that over. I personally would prefer that over being controlled. Because at the end of the day, even though there's consequences, there's good consequences and bad consequences. I prefer to live and abide by the choices I make.
I'd prefer control. I don't know, good control. Is there a control
How do you control in a responsible way?
in a responsible way? Control in a responsible way. Even something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't want to use China as an example, but allow me to use an example of Kenya. A few years back, a president from the West came over, and this president
When you say the West, be more general. A president from where?
from America came,
Okay.
yeah, came to Kenya, and part of his agenda was
Which president was it, if you don't mind me asking?
Obama, President Obama. Yep.
Obama. Okay. Democrat.
And part of his agenda was when he met with our president then, Uhuru Kenyatta. His part of his agenda was, rights, and we are like, okay, it's okay, human rights. Well, fine. And then he went further, trying to,
All right. Hold on. I got to cut you off real quick. Only because in America, even in what you're saying is totally different too. I was having a conversation with the girls yesterday about this. Um, he's a Democrat. Democrats are more based around rights. Republicans are not. Republicans are more about family.
good.
So Republicans would be more about you can't have an abortion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Democrats would be more about women can have control over their body. They can abort whenever they want.
Same sex.
Yeah. Um, Democrats are more about same sex marriages. Republicans are like, nah, we ain't with that.
Marriage.
Yeah, marriage is between man and a woman. Democrats are more like, um, you can define yourself as
Exactly.
Give the people what they want.
yeah, you could be whoever you want. You could be you want to define yourself as a girl, you're Eddie, you're now a girl. Republicans are not Republicans are not with that. So if Donald Trump wants to go over there and it would be a whole totally different conversation.
Good.
So our country here is very divided in those regards because so that's the reason why I asked you when you said rights. I already know how the conversation is going to go because we have the same issues here. So when you said Obama,
Yeah, 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 exactly.
We have those same issues here. And the crazy thing about this is I was talking to the girls, and I'm gonna let you go so we can end with what you was about to say. But I was telling her, telling the girls yesterday that here in America, all three of us could be sitting down and be family members. And as soon as politics are brought up, we'll become enemies and don't talk anymore because you're voting for Obama and he's voting for like your vote. You voted for Biden, and he voted. Chris voted for Trump, and because of that, you two will never talk again in your life. Be enemies, and y'all could be brothers. You understand what I'm saying? That's how damaging politics is here in America, and the effects that it has on even your relatives in your home. So I want you to know that by me telling you that not everybody in the West, including America, stands on the principles that you're about to complain about. But President Obama coming in and talking about all these rights because we don't agree with President Obama and all those rights neither. Politics.
And and I will still not forgive you because at that particular time he represented the United States. That particular time he represented the United States. And then back to the control thing, and
Well, let me ask you this question. Hold on real quick. Let me ask you this question. If you have a child and your child acts up in school,
mhm,
right? Your child at that particular time represented your family.
mhm,
If your kid acts up, does that mean that your family is all bad?
it means there's something wrong from where that kid comes from. It's something I'm not doing right.
I don't know if I agree with that because you could be teaching your kid everything that's right. Because here, so I'm only saying this because I'm American. Because a lot of people think that America cares about some of the like. To be truthfully honest with you, I don't know why he went there. I could tell you now, America in general don't care about what's going on. So the fact that he even went to Kenya is like out of character for us because we wouldn't care about what's going on in Kenya for him to push your agenda in Kenya. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it.
I wouldn't say he represents America in that regards because if you ask a regular American citizen, they don't they would truly genuinely don't care. We got our own problems here that we need to worry about.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So they're not trying to go fix your problems and police the world. The America in general is not trying to do that. It's politics. It's the government. You know what I'm saying? So yes, he represents America to a certain degree. He doesn't represent he represents the system. He doesn't represent the country. I don't know if I'm making sense about that.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and finish what you want to say, man. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Actually, just mentioned what I wanted to mention, but back to control. The response to whatever he was trying to, to push down our throats was, as a people, as Kenyans, that is an issue to us. What people do in private, we do not want to start debating. We have bigger problems, right? So, excuse me, that is control in a way, right? Our head of state or our government controls that. Like, no, we do not allow same-sex marriage. No, we do not do that. We do not allow abortion. No, right? So that is positive control. Me being a Christian, for me, that is totally okay, right? So again, based on that, I'd say control. Sorry, it's okay.
I don't mean to cut you off again. I listen. I stand with you on everything you just said. All right, but I also recognize that I can stand with you because that's my belief system. That's what I believe. All right. Um, if I grew up differently, I don't know if I would agree with you. And that is part of the problem in this. And that's where freedom comes into place, right? Um, like for instance, Fritz and you and me, we chose Christianity probably because we was exposed to it and we grew up as Christians, and we got an opportunity to know Christ for ourselves. What if I my parents grew up Muslim, but I still had become a Christian? I would argue and say yes, but it would have took me a longer time to get to this point because I grew up Muslim. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and so I would have to been exposed to some of the flaws of a different. And don't get me wrong, there's flaws in Christianity as well. Um, but I would have to. The choice would have been a little bit more harder to make because of our culture and how we were raised. So I say it to say I understand your control responsibility. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm only agreeing with what you're saying because I believe in
Mhm.
the same beliefs. But I don't necessarily would overall consider that still controlled responsibility. It's only controlled responsibility because I believe that
Yeah, I get you.
you shouldn't get an abortion. That's what I believe. But if I didn't believe that, I would have an issue with that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. I like the way you've mentioned. Sorry, you you know you and Fritz were brought up in Christian setting. I wasn't brought up in religious setting, so I sort of found God Christ. I had to search, and so maybe, but Aaron, look at it like this: the Bible itself, right? But I started reading the Bible. I did not believe in it. I didn't believe anything it said. I was just reading it just to to understand what this book is all about. And when I read it, even without being a Christian or believing it, I could see whatever is being said here makes a lot of sense. And if the Bible could be a constitution, I don't think we'd have this many problems that we have right now. Just using the Bible alone, you realize that all the answers are in the Bible. These things we're trying to because we're deviating from the Bible. That is why all these things happening all over. Yeah. So again, even without being a Christian, if I read the Bible, I'd still tell people. I think this novel is this is a good book. Just read this book and do what it says. You don't have to just do what it says and see. If we all follow this book, things will be all right. But if we don't,
The moral merits.
Yeah, I agree. All right. To bring this to a close, Eddie, I'm gonna let Fritz go last. To bring this to a close, chivalry in a relationship. What can a woman do to be chivalrous? Or is there anything she can do, or is there no such thing as chivalry for a woman?
I don't. But respect your man, and as men love our women. I think that is enough. That is
So is respect the action word, or is just respect is what it is? Respect.
no, an action, but not the little things she does. Make me. When I come home, she'll make me that sandwich. If my car breaks down, I will.
So that's an action word because to them that might be doing the little things, and that might be chivalry. That's why I'm asking. You saying respect? Respect can be you can be respect somebody and not still get up and make them a sandwich.
If it's my pal in the house, my friend in the house, that is okay. But if it is my wife in the house, it goes without saying you're meant to.
That's why I'm asking again because I'm asking again, and we can maybe do a part two to this and get a little bit deeper into it. Fritz, let me let you go. Say your piece on this as well, real quick, and then we'll close it out. And maybe I would love to have Joe Ash on this topic as well. But go ahead, Fritz. Let me give you a chance to chime in.
Right. So what I'm thinking is that chivalry is uh right now chivalry is indeed a, I think I would say it is a strength of a man uh for a woman, and then there's also a strength for a woman for a man, and which is to really show that care and acknowledgement and respect for the for the man. I think there's a there's a uh what you call this counterpart, right, of a woman for a man for his chivalry, and that is just caring for. I think it is chivalrous for a woman to care, for example, for her child, right? And focus on their child, and then so that the father can focus on providing and protecting and keeping that safe space within that family. So if the man will be concerned on caring for the too concerned for caring for the child, and the woman would want to be equal in work, I want to work and all these things. So there's not going to be a peaceful interaction communication in that circle of relationship. So I think that's chivalrous for a woman to do.
Gotcha. All right. We gonna sign out, man. To me, it was just a good conversation. Do you think the discussion is good?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I told the girl, I think I like having these conversations with the fellas more than I do having it mixed because I guess you wouldn't say iron sharpens iron, but it's like you're doing it in the midst of the fellas. So we get a chance to, go at each other, but at the same time, you know what I mean, give different perspectives, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and enlighten each other.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah. But on that note, man, I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your week, man. It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
And Fritz, enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Don't hurt yourself out there, brother.
I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine.
All right. You have a good one. Eddie, signing out, bro.
Cheers.
Y'all enjoy your day, man. Talk to y'all later.
Bye bye.
Peace.
All right. Bye, Eddie. Bye.